It hurts a parent to see his seed fighting. My mother tells me of one of my sisters who was 2 years old, had not walked ever before. But when she brought the new baby home, that little girl got up, walked over, and hit the new baby. And church, I have to tell you, they don't even get along to this day. Much like now, back then the Bible says that Joseph's father could not be comforted by his sons nor daughters. The Bible says that the father tore off his clothes and mourned many days for his son. The father said that he would go to his grave mourning the loss of his son. If you have a problem with a sibling, and many of us do, call them up and get over the issue. It will do your heart good and relieve a parent's heart. Regardless if they took your car and sold it, took your man, took your woman, let it go, church. Joseph should actually thank his brothers, see, the ones that bought him, sold him to Potiphar in Egypt, an officer of Pharaoh. But God is not finished with his work with Joseph. A lot of people can think of a particular shop they like to go to and appreciate the items for sale. I like to enjoy art. Paintings in particular. See, when the artist starts the process, he had a blank canvas, and through many hours of decision and indecision, stopping and starting, getting a new frame because he was dissatisfied with the previous. Church, my point is that a lot of work goes into a finished product. I know someone that loved to admire this beautiful vase, the finished product. They had little or no thought of what it took to get it that way. See, it did not start out as a lovely creation. It had to go through cracks in its body, chips to its exterior, heat and fire to be formed, lines of paint which provide elements of reality. The vase was not always such a masterpiece. Oh, but through time, Joseph, but if I could just hold out and be faithful while the master has his way, then I will be what he wants me to be. I will be able to go through the fire and storm, the rain, and it will not affect my condition. Church, much like Joseph, he stayed faithful to God. So now he's with Potiphar, and this man's wife just can't seem to get enough of Joseph. As a matter of fact, she wants more and more of Joseph. She wants all of Joseph, church. But look at Joseph. Even though he had been enslaved, sold, and now in a tough position, he stayed faithful to God and true to himself. And what does the Bible say? It tells us that the Lord was with Joseph. And church, even though he is in this situation, he is still a prosperous man. See, even when others can't see it, others can. See, Potiphar saw that Joseph was a blessed man, and Joseph found grace in his sight. My friends, no matter where you are, you can let your light shine and God will bless you. I proclaim that there is no situation, no predicament, no problem that can outshine God. Therefore, no matter the state of your being, you must let your light shine. That is what Joseph, an Israelite, did, and look what happened. God blessed everything that Joseph touched, and because of that, all the belongings of this Egyptian's house was blessed because God blessed Joseph. Now, Potiphar was not without sight, nor understanding, for he knew that Joseph was a blessed man. What do you think happens to a blessed man? He blesses others through his actions because his actions are of God. Therefore, he is blessed by God in response for his faithfulness. Come on, somebody. Potiphar's wife saw that everything Joseph did was good, and herein we see the wife asking Joseph to lay with her. Now, Potiphar had turned everything in his household over to Joseph, but not the man's wife. Joseph understood it meant everything but his wife and told her that he would not sin against God. Oh, my brothers and sisters, don't you know that people will use who you are and what you are against you when you don't come down to their level, when you don't do what they want, when you do not succumb to their wants and their needs? I have to let you know what you are, who you are. Do not let anybody change you. After Joseph would not lie with Potiphar's wife, she went and lied on Joseph and told the servants as well as her husband that this Hebrew servant which thou hast brought unto us has come unto me to mock me. Here again the Lord was with Joseph because Potiphar had Joseph put in prison. Isn't it funny that a lie can topple good works, or it can at least attempt to? Even while Joseph was in jail, he still found favor in the sight of the keeper of the prison. The keeper or warden put all the prisoners under Joseph's hand. See, Joseph, in essence, became the prison director, and whatever the prisoners did was because of Joseph implemented it. Whatever took place prospered because the prison keeper saw that Joseph was a blessed man. Again, Joseph was knocked down, but he was not knocked out. He was knocked back, but he was not knocked out. You can have trouble, disturbance, but if you are in the Lord's hands, not only will you stand your ground, you will overcome. You will prosper, church. Thank the Lord, somebody. Now, it took Joseph another 2 years to get out of prison, and again, it was through the power of God that Joseph was placed as ruler, and only the king was greater than Joseph. Now the king put a ring on Joseph's finger, put fine clothes on his back, put a gold chain on his neck. The king even had Joseph riding in the second chariot, and all the people of Egypt bowed before him. But something else took place, church. The king gave Joseph a wife. Sometimes in this life, the road is not just going to be paved smoothly. Sometimes the weight of our ascension is bound by oppression. But remember, as long as your hand is in the master's hand, your road will not make you tired, but give you strength. Please remember that we walk like Jesus. We talk like Jesus, so no roadblock will derail our destiny if we stay with the Lord. It took Joseph 30 years, but he stood before Pharaoh as king of Egypt. Joseph went about the work of the Lord, about the work of the land, but he let God lead him. Everything that Joseph did was in preparation for his return and for his family to be reunited. Something that really moves me is that Joseph said the Father had made him forget all his toil and all his father's house. Church, he left all that went before him in back. He didn't take it with him, church. Thank God, somebody. His heart was in the right place. He left the problems where they were, and he moved ahead, church. No matter what you're going through, you can learn from the past, but I declare that you can not let it dictate your future. When climbing the ladder of life, you have to leave that unnecessary baggage behind if you want to arrive at your destination in top shape to succeed. I believe Joseph knew this, and as a constant reminder not to look back, not carry his past with him, not to get down on himself because of his past, he named his first son Manasseh. In this life, we are going to encounter difficulties, but do not stop. People would rather see you fail, move. People would rather see you fail more so than rise, but do not be persuaded by negativity. Be encouraged in the Lord. Joseph was encouraged in the Lord, and when in the 45th chapter of Genesis, he lets his brothers know who he is and tells them that God sent him before them to preserve them a posterity in the earth and to save their lives by a great deliverance. How many of us today could do this? How many could put all ill feelings aside and be there for family, friend, coworker, or just anybody after they had done you wrong, let alone really left you alone, and all they wanted to do was have nothing to do with you? Joseph was a special man indeed. He was not quieted by the situation. He let his dream from a young boy guide him, and he never let up. How many of us can say what you did for evil, but God meant it for the good? How many can put themselves aside and let the Lord use them? How many are able to say, yea, though you slay me, yet will I follow? Joseph was this type of person, and yes, he did have dreams. He was led by God, but he followed God to the end, and he was rewarded for his faith. Some of us are called to work through terrible trials. This is just how life is. There are mountains and valleys, good times and very bad times. There will be seasons when others betray us, use us, abuse us, and we are completely out of control of our circumstances, or we are accused unjustly. My point is that we must always trust God. He has an awesome will, an awesome plan, and an awesome purpose for our lives. God has allowed these trials for a reason, so says Romans 8:28. Now remember, when the time was right, the Lord allowed Joseph to interpret some very important dreams for Pharaoh. This ended up saving both Egypt and Joseph's entire family. Is there someone you can save, someone you can help, someone you can forgive? Just as God promised, Joseph became a great ruler, but it took all those difficulties to position him for maximum impact. The same is true for you and me today. When all is said and done, we, like Joseph, will be able to give testimony about hardships. I'm confident that as we obey the Lord through all of life's challenges, we will be able to be like Joseph. Not be like Mike, but be like Joseph. The key is to always keep your focus on God. Because if you obey God and leave all the consequences to Him, He will certainly take care of the rest. And when you do this, church, you will be angry no more.